Good morning, world. I am Judy, your web-based therapist, making therapy accessible and convenient for our clients in Florida and New York, and of course, sharing information worldwide. Today, I wanted to talk about 5 self-esteem maintenance tips for people with ADHD. Well, because you always need self-esteem maintenance tips, but of course, right now with all the chaos, they're probably a little bit more needed than usual. So first thing, understand and accept that you do things differently and work with that. The world, society, and people around us, they try to make everyone the same. We try to teach children the same. We try to make adults do things the same. But just in general, people are different and people will do things differently. But people with ADHD, they sometimes have their own way, their own method of doing things. And you need to understand that as a person with ADHD, although you are capable of all the same great successes that anyone else is capable of, you may not get to it the same way. You have different ways, you have different methods, your creative ways, your out of the box thinking, your out of the box ways of doing things can sometimes be a great option, a great alternative, or even better than the normal things that they try to teach or they try to encourage. So you need to realize that, hey, sometimes you do things differently and that is okay, and work with that and work with those differences in order to thrive. 2, do not allow people to speak negativity onto you, and absolutely never join that chorus. Make sure you do not ever join that chorus. Because people with ADHD are often subjected to all sorts of negative feedback. People, they've been called lazy, irresponsible, and all those things. I mean, if you have ADHD, you've heard them a time or two. Don't allow people to speak that onto you. And do not ever join that chorus of being the one to say, I'm lazy, I'm this, I'm that, or any of those things that people have said about you. If anyone says anything negative about you, call them out on it. Tell them, no, I'm not lazy. I do things differently and you need to learn to work with that. Speak up, defend yourself. Do not allow people to speak or judge you negatively for any reason, and absolutely never, ever be the one to do it. 3, archive your schedules with markers of your accomplishments. Sometimes when we're working on things, it could be easy to, especially when you have not completed a project or when you're struggling with a project, it could be easy to start getting those negative thoughts into your head, to start feeling, okay, maybe I can't do it. Maybe I'm not, maybe just when those negative thoughts start coming up, it's nice to have something you can go to that says, hey, no, I'm actually this pretty capable, this pretty smart guy, this pretty that. I actually can do this. I have done this. So I like archiving schedules and having stuff around to remind you of all the good things of all that you're capable of. Have things that remind you of your successes. Have things that remind you of all those accomplishments, of all those things that you can and have done in the past, so that if you ever face a situation where something is making you doubt yourself, something is bringing up a little bit of a negative thought, you have a rebuttal. 4, surround yourself with doers, but do not compare yourself to others. When you're surrounded with doers, you are encouraged to be a doer. When you're surrounded with people who are getting things done, you're encouraged to be in that group of people getting things done. But do not compare yourself to them, because again, people do things differently. People have their own timelines. People have their own methods. It's important that when you surround yourself with people who are encouraging and inspiring you, which when you're surrounded with doers, that's what you're getting. People who are busy doing art, they will take time to encourage and motivate another, but they don't have time to discourage. It's the people who are too busy, not minding their own business, not focusing on their own success. They have plenty of time to judge and criticize and figure out all the ways that somebody may not be doing things right. But doers are too busy doing things to take time to ever have time to criticize, to ever have time to put somebody down. But hey, they will take a minute to encourage. They will take a minute to motivate. So surround yourself with doers, but don't compare yourself to them, because everyone has a different way of doing things. Everyone has a different timeline. And finally, celebrate your successes. The world teaches us, hey, be modest. Don't toot your own horn. Don't do this. Don't do that. But If you're not busy if you're not tooting your horn, sometimes people are not doing it for you. So it's important that we're not waiting for others to give us the accolades. We're not waiting for other people to acknowledge the things that we're succeeding at, especially when you're in the middle of the project, when you have not gotten to the big success yet. You got to take the time and celebrate the smaller successes, because most people will not do that for you. So when you succeed, when you accomplish things, when you achieve those things, when you set those goals and reach them, take time to celebrate. Quick recap. 1, understand and accept that you do things differently and work with that, because ADHD has a lot of bonuses that it comes with, so use those. 2, do not allow others to speak negatively onto you, and definitely by any means never be the one to speak negatively on yourself. 3, archive your schedules or have mementos, things to remind you of your successes and accomplishments. 4, surround yourself with doers, because they encourage you, but do not compare yourself to them, because people do things differently and that's okay. And finally, celebrate your successes, because as you're doing things, it's important that you're taking the time to acknowledge and celebrate all the great things that you're doing. As always, if you or someone you know happens to be going through something that's more than you can handle, please remember that even right now that many things are closed, there are professionals like myself providing remote services who are able, available, and willing to help with whatever it is that you may be going through. So please figure out who those people are in your community so that if you need them, you can reach out and get the help that you need. And that is all we have for today. Good morning, world. Have an awesome day.